movie begins with a little girl named Gio playing in the kitchen. She has locked herself in because her father is arguing with her mother. It's clear that the father is very upset about the behavior of his son Michael, who has autism. At that moment, Gio puts headphones on and listens to music. Then she moves lightly and skillfully over the fridge, climbing across the shelves on the wall until she reaches the kitchen window and opens it. After that, she sits on the window and enjoys the view she sees. And despite the great height, Gio isn't afraid. 20 years pass and we see her grown up, waking up quickly from sleep. This happens after she realizes she's late for work, so she hurriedly gets dressed and leaves the house. But then she receives a call from the manager of the care center where her brother Michael lives. The manager asks her to come quickly to the center because her brother has caused a problem, so she gets on her motorcycle and rushes to the center. There, she discovers that the manager wants to expel Michael. This is because he hacked into highly confidential files on the center's computer and leaked them to the press. At that moment, the manager tells Gio that she won't call the police because she understands Michael's condition. So she tries to convince the manager not to expel her brother because she works all day and won't be able to take care of him and look after him. Not to mention that Michael has already been expelled from 8 care centers before. And it's very difficult for her to find a care center for Michael anytime soon. But the manager refuses to listen to Gio, so Gio gets upset and tells her that she and the center's board are stealing donation money, and that's the real reason she's not calling the police. But the manager ignores Gio's words and insists on expelling Michael from the center. At that point, Gio is forced to take her brother and leave. But as she's leaving, she gets a call from her boss, Derek. That's because Gio is late for work, so she tells him she's on her way and almost there. She quickly takes her brother and hurries so they can get on the motorcycle. But Gio is shocked when she discovers that the motorcycle is out of gas, so they run to catch the bus and get on it. However, Michael surprises her by telling her that they've gotten on the wrong bus, so they get off quickly and run to catch the bus that's heading to Gio's workplace. After they get off the bus, Gio runs to work quickly. But suddenly, Michael remembers that he left his phone charging at the care center. He wants to go back and get it because his phone is about to run out of battery. She tries to calm him down, but he gets upset and keeps hitting her, so she hugs him to help him calm down. She promises him that she will buy him a new charger, so Michael calms down and apologizes to her. After that, they arrive at the company where Gio works. There, Gio asks Michael to wait for her at the reception. She tells him that she will come back to him after 6 hours and goes to get the security guard named Ron. She introduces him to Michael. At that moment, Gio tells Michael that Ron will stay with him until she finishes work. It turns out that Ron knows Michael's condition well. That's why he deals with him calmly. And when Michael asks about the charger, Ron takes his phone and tells him that he will charge it for him. After Ron leaves, it becomes clear that Michael doesn't want to be away from Gio, to the point that he even offers to work with her. Gio understands that this isn't possible because her boss is very strict and treats people badly. She tells him it's better for him to wait with Ron, especially since that day there will be a big party at the company, the place will be crowded, and there will be a lot of people. So Michael asks her if he can live with her at her place after he was kicked out of the care center. She avoids answering the question and tells him that they'll talk about it later. After that, Gio quickly runs off and gets into the elevator. On the second floor, Jeffrey and his brother Gerald, the owners of the company, get in with her. With them is the secretary, Jennifer, who updates them on the latest arrangements for the party. Here we learn that all the company's shareholders will be attending the party. That's because the company is going to announce the launch of a new project. On the next floor, a cleaning lady named Helena gets into the elevator. It's clear that she is pregnant and about to give birth. At that moment, Gerald gets annoyed when he sees her and starts mocking her, telling her that she should be at home because that's better than suddenly giving birth at the company. Here, Gio steps in to defend Helena and tells Gerald that instead of making fun of her, he should have given her a proper maternity leave. That way, she would stay at home until it's time for her to give birth. Gerald gets angry at the way Gio talks to him, and as soon as he gets out of the elevator, he gives her an angry look and walks away. At that moment, Helena thanks Gio for standing by her and defending her. After that, each of them goes to her workplace and she arrives at her boss Dirk's office, where he is waiting for her. He clearly looks very upset because she's a whole hour late for work. Dirk tells her that now he finally understands the reason why the army fired her from her job. This is a hint that Joy used to be a soldier in the army, and because of her carelessness with punctuality, she was dismissed. But Joy isn't bothered by Dirk's words and tells him that she was fired from the army because her direct superior harassed her and she hit him. At that moment, Dirk realizes that Joy is threatening him, implying she might hit him too, so he punishes her by giving her an extra hour of work. He tells her he wants her to clean the windows on the 50th and 51st floors because the windows there are covered in bird droppings, and he asks her to clean them very thoroughly, warning that if he doesn't like her work, he'll make her do it again. Joy gets frustrated, leaves him, and goes to get ready to start her work. After a few moments, Joy descends from the rooftop of the building using ropes and the equipment she uses to secure herself. It doesn't take long before Joy's colleague Noah arrives and starts helping her with the work. At that moment, Noah notices that Joy is upset, so Joy tells him that Michael was expelled from the care center he was in. Noah sympathizes with Joy because he knows she struggles in her life because of her brother, and he asks her where she took him. She tells him that Michael is sitting in the reception area with the security guard. At the same time, Michael is feeling anxious and bored because he's sitting alone. At that moment, Ron leaves Michael and goes to talk to a car driver because he parked in the wrong spot in front of the company entrance. So Michael takes advantage of the situation and goes to look for his sister. When Ron comes back, he's surprised to find that Michael has disappeared and there's no trace of him. Meanwhile, in another place, we see Gerald calling Jennifer and asking her to deal with Joy because she dared to talk back to him in a disrespectful way. After that, Gerald goes to his brother Jeffrey as they get ready for a television interview, and it becomes clear that Gerald isn't interested in the matter. This is in contrast to his brother Jeffrey, who answers all the interviewers' questions and says that their company is a leader in the field of sustainable energy. He also mentions that they are committed to providing the best services to citizens. At that moment, Gerald gets bored and leaves Jeffrey to finish the interview with the host and goes off to watch the video that will be shown at the party. We return to Joy, who is talking to Noah about her life, but they are interrupted by Dirk, who contacts Noah via walkie-talkie and asks him to let Joy get back to her work alone and to go take care of his own tasks, so Noah complies. Noah says goodbye to Joy as Dirk instructed, but before leaving, he asks her to look after Michael. At that time, the company workers are finishing up the party preparations and placing air freshener devices on every table in the venue. At night, we see Joy still working, and suddenly Michael knocks on the window in front of her and tells her that he's bored of sitting alone. But Joy yells at him to go wait for her at the reception and tells him that she's almost done with work and will take him and leave soon. However, Michael gets upset by the way she talks to him and tells her angrily that she's controlling his life for no reason. He refuses to listen to her, leaves her, and walks away angrily. After that, Joy contacts Derek and tells him that she's finished her work. But Derek informs her that she has extra work to do because he received instructions to punish her for responding to the company owner in an inappropriate manner. He asks Joy to get on the lift next to her and continue her work, so Joy does as he says and gets on the lift, feeling angry. She gets even more upset when she discovers that Derek is the one controlling the lift from his end. But there's nothing she can do except continue working. At that moment, a car stops in front of the company building and a group of people wearing masks get out. We find out that they are a performance troupe who will be putting on a show at the party. As soon as they enter the party venue, Jennifer signals to Jeffrey. So Jeffrey goes up on stage, welcomes everyone present, and begins to give a speech about the company's new project. At that moment, Gerald takes his wife and heads up to their room. Meanwhile, she is talking to Derek and asks him to let her control the lift again because she has finished her work. At the same time, two of the masked people enter Derek's room, and one of them pulls out a gun and kills Derek and everyone else in the room. As for the other one, it turns out she's a woman named Zia, and she sits in front of the main control unit and hacks into all the systems. It becomes clear that they have another group of masked people with them, and they're all part of the same gang. At that moment, Zia talks to her colleague sitting next to her and tells him that there was no need to kill the employees. but he ignores her and doesn't respond. After that, she contacts the gang leader and tells him that all the building systems are now under their control. All of this is happening while Jeffrey is still standing on stage, continuing his speech about the company's commitment to its clients. But suddenly, one of the masked men mocks Jeffrey's words and accuses him of lying. At that moment, the man signals to everyone with him so they can put oxygen devices in their mouths. Then, he presses a remote control and smoke starts coming out of all the air freshener devices on the tables. The smoke quickly spreads throughout the place, causing everyone there to collapse one after another and lose consciousness. At that moment, Michael sees smoke coming out of the air freshener device, so he quickly runs and hides inside the room, locking himself in. At the same time, she sees the gas coming out of the air freshener devices, so she gets worried and feels that something wrong is happening inside the building. As for Zia, she informs the gang leader that the gas will lose its effect after 4 hours. And she tells him that all the exits of the building are now closed and secured, in addition to the fact that all communication devices and alarm systems have been completely disabled. At this point, the gang leader and his accomplices wake up Jeffrey, Jennifer, and a number of other important people. The gang leader then reveals himself to them and tells them that he and his group have decided to protect the Earth from the actions of humans that are destroying the environment. He tells them that if they do as he says, he will let them live and return safely to their homes. Meanwhile, Emma tries to contact Derek, but no one answers, so she decides to climb the rope to reach the rooftop. We then return to the gang leader, who is comparing the photos on his phone with the important people standing in front of him. At that moment, he realizes that Gerald is not among them. He asks Jeffrey about his whereabouts, but Jeffrey refuses to answer, so one of the gang members steps forward and breaks his finger to make him talk. Jeffrey screams in pain and describes to them where Gerald's room is. The gang leader immediately sends one of his men there. At that moment, she is standing in front of Gerald's room window. She sees the gang member waking Gerald up to take him with him. Then, the gang member removes the mask from his face. It turns out to be Noah, Joey's colleague. Joey is shocked because she never expected Noah to be one of the gang members. After that, Noah takes Gerald and brings him back to the banquet hall, so Joey quickly returns to the lift and stands on it. She keeps screaming loudly and calls for help from the people in the street. But unfortunately, no one hears her. After that, she tries to operate the lift, but she fails, and she has no other option but to throw down a rope and climb down, hoping to find an open window to get inside the building. Joey keeps descending on the rope until she reaches the window of the hall where the hostages are being held. At that moment, the gang leader takes off his mask and tells them that his name is Marcus. Here, Jeffrey thinks that Marcus and his crew are there to steal money from them. But Noah hits Jeffrey hard and tells him that they don't want his money. Then Marcus asks Zion to play the video. And in this video, it shows the waste that the company dumps into a nearby lake, to the extent that the lake has become completely polluted and is now harming people, not to mention the rest of the waste that the company disposes of in the forests. All of this is causing an imbalance in the ecosystem. Marcus says that Gerald and Jeffrey took advantage of their connections with the officials and made them turn a blind eye to what was happening. At this point, the video shows a picture of a woman named Elaine. Marcus says that Elaine tried to speak out about the violations the company was committing, but Gerald and Jeffrey managed to frame her for a crime and have her imprisoned. A few days later, she was found dead in her cell. This was because she was planning to expose them and reveal everything in court. At that moment, Jeffrey laughs mockingly and tells Marcus that he has no evidence of the company's crimes. But Marcus tells him that their own confessions will be the evidence of their crimes. Jeffrey realizes that Marcus is going to torture them until they confess. So he tries to bargain with him and offers him a lot of money in exchange for letting them go. But Noah loses his temper, attacks Jeffrey, and finishes him off. At this point, Marcus gets angry, argues with Noah, and reminds him that killing wasn't part of their plan. At the same time, Rifa comes back again and uses a certain substance to write a word on the building's glass, and it turns out to be a distress message. At that moment, everyone sees this message. In the control room, Zeke and the police are heard talking about the distress message, so she informs Marcus and tells him that a cleaning lady wrote a distress message on the building's facade and lets him know that the police saw the message and are on their way to the building. So Marcus asks Zion to call the police and let them know that they have hostages. After that, he orders Noah to go look for the cleaning lady and arrest her. At this point, Gerald takes advantage of the opportunity and runs out of the hole, and one of the gang members named Freya wants to shoot him, but Marcus stops her. Then Noah reaches Joey, who is shocked by what he is doing. But Noah doesn't talk to her. Instead, he contacts Zaya and asks her to move the lift to the roof so he can arrest Joey. Noah heads to the roof to wait for her, but Joey manages to disable the lift and stops it from moving. At that moment, Gerald goes to hide in his room and tries to call the police, but Marcus follows him and breaks into the room, so Gerald tries to kill Marcus, but Marcus easily overpowers him. And at that moment, Noah comes in and points his gun at Gerald. Marcus tells him that he doesn't want anyone else to die, but suddenly, Noah turns his gun on Marcus and finishes him off. It turns out that Noah had planned this from the beginning, and several members of the gang are actually loyal to him. At that moment, Noah informs the rest of the gang that he has killed Marcus and that he has now taken his place. Without hesitation, Noah's men eliminate Marcus's followers. With that, control shifts to Noah and his men, and the only one left from Marcus's followers is Zine. Noah asks her if she's going to be with him or against him. Zine tells him that she's with him. After that, Noah throws Marcus's body out the window, and the body lands on Joy. At that moment, Joy sees Marcus's gun, which had fallen from him, so she picks it up and keeps it. As for Noah, he shoots Gerald in the leg as punishment for trying to escape. After that, he and Freya carry him back to the hall, but at that moment, Zoe informs Noah that there's a helicopter on its way to the location. So Noah tells her that he'll handle it. We then return to Joy, who hears someone behind her, so she points the gun at them, but she's surprised to find it's her brother Michael. She's happy that he's okay and nothing happened to him. At that moment, Michael hears the sound of the elevator, so he quickly runs and hides. After that, Noah appears and goes to talk to Joy. Joy is surprised when Noah reports her to the police, saying that she's standing on the building's facade and is armed. At that moment, Noah notices that Helena, the cleaning lady, is unconscious next to him, so he threatens Joy that he will kill Helena if she doesn't do as he says. He forces her to shoot at the people in the street in order to distract the police and make them focus on Joy. At the same time, we see the hostages confessing to the crimes they have committed. And it turns out that the Minister of Energy was the one who took a bribe from the company to stop the investigation into the waste the company was dumping in the lake. And the owner of a major newspaper admits that he published false news to the public in order to improve the company's image in front of people. At this point, Noah informs them that they need more time to get the remaining confessions and publish them on the internet. She finds out that the police have surrounded the entire building, so Noah asks her to transfer $32 million from the company's account to Joey's account. This is to implicate Joey in the case and make the police go after her. At the same time, a police detective named Claire arrives at the scene and gets a full report from her colleague about what happened. The officer tells her that among the hostages inside is the Minister of Energy, and so far there have been no clear demands from the criminals. He also says that the main suspect is Joey, the cleaning lady. Claire then learns that Joey has a complicated past because she was a member of a special unit in the army, and that she passed the special forces tests with distinction, but she was dismissed after she assaulted the commander. So Claire orders an investigation into Joey's bank accounts. At that moment, the leader of the assault team comes in and informs Claire that he and his men are ready. But Claire tells him not to give the order to storm in unless he checks with her first. At this point, the officer informs Claire that $33 million have been transferred from the company to Joey's account. Claire is surprised and starts to feel that Joey isn't the one behind what's happening, because there's no reason for her to send a distress signal and draw attention to herself, especially since the company fulfilled her demands and transferred the money. At that moment, we see Joey approaching Marcus's body and taking the phone from his pocket, but suddenly the lift loses balance and Marcus's body falls off it. As for Joey, she manages to save herself at the last moment by grabbing onto the rope, and she calls emergency services to connect her with the detective in charge of the case. So they quickly connect her to Claire, and at that moment Joey explains everything that happened to Claire. Claire reassures her and tells her that she knows she's innocent, and together they agree on a plan so Joey can enter the building and help the police catch Noah and his accomplices. After that, the officer shows Claire a report about Noah, and she discovers that Noah is a known member of an extremist group. This group believes that humans are nothing but viruses and must be eliminated. That's because they think humans will be the reason for the destruction of planet Earth. At that moment, Freya gives Noah a remote detonator and makes him wear the device on his hand. She tells him that it works by monitoring his heartbeat. This means that if Noah dies, the entire building will explode with everyone inside. After that, Noah contacts Claire and tells her about the device he has. While they're talking, Noah watches through the cameras. A group of soldiers approach the building, and without hesitation, Noah detonates a car bomb in front of the building, eliminating them all. After that, Claire yells at the assault team leader because he disobeyed her orders. As a result, 5 soldiers died, and she warns him not to repeat this again or he will be removed from the mission. At that moment, Claire gets a call from Geo, who is upset about the explosion that happened. Claire tells her that Noah is threatening to blow up the entire building. Not only that, but he's also wearing the detonation device on his hand. Claire continues and tells her that Noah is recording confessions from Gerald, the company owner, as well as from all the officials with him, and that he intends to publish these confessions on the internet and expose them. At that moment, Joy is shocked to see explosives being dropped on her from the rooftop. She realizes that Noah wants to kill her and get rid of her. So she quickly moves and walks along the building's windows until she gets away from the lift. At that point, the explosives reach the lift and blow it up completely. At that moment, Noah orders Veria to go and make sure that Joy died in the explosion. At that time, Joy is standing in front of one of the building's windows. She asks Claire to have the sniper fire a few shots at the window glass to break it so she can get inside the building. So Claire gives the sniper orders to fire at the window. After that, Joy keeps hitting the glass to break it. Suddenly, Michael appears and helps Joy, manages to break the window, and pulls her inside the building. Afterwards, Joy takes Michael and they go hide in the maintenance room. And Faria arrives at the broken window. At that moment, she realizes that Joy is still alive and has entered the building, so she informs Noah about what happened. She says she and 2 others should go search for her and finish her off. And indeed, they manage to reach the maintenance room. Here, she asks Michael to stay where he is, then moves stealthily and takes out one of Noah's men. As for the second man, Michael attacks him and starts fighting him. And just before that man kills Michael, Joy shoots him and finishes him off. But then Faria arrives at the scene and attacks Joy, and a fierce fight breaks out between them as they keep hitting each other with force. But Faria manages to overpower Joy and points a gun at her. At that moment, Michael suddenly appears, throws a grenade and blows up the place. Because of the explosion, Faria falls out of the building window and dies. As soon as Noah hears the sound of the explosion, he senses that something is wrong. So he records a video and says that he is going to blow up the entire building because he doesn't care about protecting humans since they are evil and don't deserve to live. At this point, Z gets scared for her own safety and decides to escape from the building before posting the video. But the gang member with her shoots her and kills her. At that moment, Jai appears and shoots him, finishing him off. After that, she and Michael enter the control room. Here, G asks Michael to hack the security system that D set up so they can access the company's files and use them as evidence. Along with the recorded confessions, Michael agrees and is able to do it easily. At that moment, Nu asks Z about the video he recorded, so she replies and tells him that Z is dead and that his plan has completely failed. Nuo gets angry and takes the rest of his men to go look for Ji-Wei, and he leaves the last of the gang members with the hostages. After that, the police forces storm the place and take out that girl. The commander of the forces is shocked by the amount of explosives in the place. Meanwhile, Ji-Wei asks Michael to leave the building quickly, but Michael refuses and wants to stay by her side. So Ji-Wei reassures him, tells him she'll catch up with him, leaves him in the elevator, and says goodbye. Not sure if she'll ever see him again. After that, Ji-Wei moves quietly inside the building until she reaches one of Nuo's men. She strangles him until he dies. Then she goes to hide and waits for the second man until he appears in front of her, and she strikes him with an axe, finishing him off. With that, Nuo is left alone without any of his men, so she goes looking for him until she finds him in front of her. They get into a very intense fight until Nuo is about to fall off the top of the building. At that moment, he tells Ji that he is still the one who won, because when he dies, the whole place will explode. But Ji surprises him and shows him the detonator which she managed to steal from him during the fight and put on her own wrist. This way, the device will keep working with her heartbeat and the bombs won't go off. Then she pushes him and he falls off the building. After that, all the hostages are freed, and Gerald and everyone involved with him in the corruption case are arrested. Claire goes to G, thanks her for her help, and asks her about the hard disk that contains the company's files. G tells her that she doesn't know anything about it. Claire understands that G doesn't want to hand over these files to the police and that she wants to deliver them to the press herself. So she asks her to make sure to return the 33 million that were transferred to her account. She agrees, leaves her, and goes to her brother Michael. She hugs him while crying and tells him that she will stay with him and will never leave him again no matter what happens. After that, the news talks about the files that were leaked to the press, all of which prove the involvement of high-ranking officials in a major corruption case. Elsewhere, we see her sitting with Michael by the sea. They are happy and really enjoying their time together, and the movie ends.